Hello and welcome to Monday Morning with Megan on the From Impossible to Inevitable podcast. Of course, I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. This is episode 193, and I have a great quote for you by one of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday, from one of my favorite books, Courage is Calling. He said, "Fear determines what is or isn't possible. If you think something is too scary, it's too scary for you. If you think you don't have any power, you don't. If you aren't the captain of your fate, then fate is the captain of you." We go through life in two ways. We choose between effective truths, that we have the ability to change our situation, or that we are at the mercy of the situations in which we find ourselves. We can rely on luck or cause and effect. Of course, just because you think you can do something doesn't mean you can. But if you don't believe you can do something, if you're afraid of it, it's very unlikely that you will be able to do it. If you decide it can't be done, it's not happening. Not by you, anyway. I love that quote because it highlights a few things. The first is like the power of our decision, right? If we decide that something is too scary, then it is. It's just too scary. If we decide that we can't do a thing, then we can't. Like that, we just can't. The power of our decision makes a huge difference there. But if we decide, on the other side of that, if we decide that we can face the fear, that we can work through the fear, that we can overcome the fear, or that we can just do it anyway, then that's also true. And if we decide that we can do something, that still puts us in this place of action. That still puts us in this place of making a difference. That takes us out of this like place of, what did he say? Where, we're at the mercy of the situations that we find ourselves in. And I love too how he said that we kind of go back and forth between these effective truths. And an effective truth is a really interesting thing because we decide which truth is the one in effect. Like they are both true. We just decide which one we're operating by at that time. So sometimes we can do the thing, we can make the difference, we have all the power to change how things are, right? And sometimes in some situations, in some experiences, that is what we are working off of. That is how we are operating. And then in other situations, we believe that we're powerless, that we can't do anything about it, that we are at the mercy of the situation in some experiences, in some situations, and whatever. But the difference between the effectiveness of those truths is us. It's our decision. It's how we're looking at it. It's our perspective. It's our beliefs, what we are believing about the thing, about the situation, and about ourselves, and about our abilities, and about our worth. So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. But I would disagree in that fear doesn't necessarily determine what is or isn't possible. It's our giving way to fear. It's our acquiescence to fear. It's our being like, oh, I'm going to let fear make the choice on this one. That is what decides what is or isn't possible. The presence of the fear isn't necessarily the indicator. It's the decision we make about the fear. It's what we make that fear to mean. It's the decision power we hand over to the fear that makes the difference. That is really the key there. Because all the things can be scary. And you can still do it anyway. You can still do it anyway. It doesn't necessarily have to mean the outcome. It doesn't have to mean whether you choose action or inaction. Okay, so think about that this week. Think about what fear is indicating to you. Think about whether or not you're handing over your decision-making power to it. And think about these effective truths and where you choose which one. Where you choose that you have the power to make a difference, to do the thing, to have it make a change, and where you think you are powerless to make a difference, to do the thing, to make a change. Think about when those truths are in effect in your life. Just notice. Just notice. Write it down in your journal. Maybe ask yourself some questions about it. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. I totally love you. Bye for now.